Have you ever wondered why some words seem to vanish into thin air, while others echo back into your life with unstoppable force? What if I told you that every word you speak is not just sound but a spiritual blueprint, a silent architect building your future in the unseen long before it appears in the visible? I revealed a law so hidden, so overlooked, yet it governs every success, every failure, every miracle in your life. It's not in what you wish for. It's not in what you think. It's in what you speak. You see, words are not mere expressions. They are commands to the invisible forces shaping your destiny. The moment you declare, "I am wealthy," or "nothing ever works out for me," you're not making casual statements. You are activating a divine law that never misses its mark. But here's the secret most people never discover. It's not about begging. It's not about hoping. It's about knowing which words unlock doors in the spiritual realm and which words quietly slam them shut. Today, I will reveal to you my hidden law, the invisible power of spoken words that has been silently shaping lives for centuries. And once you understand how this law responds, not to emotions, not to struggles, but to the exact rhythm of your speech, you will never speak carelessly again, because the universe is not ignoring you, it's echoing you. So, let's begin. Every word you speak sets a spiritual law in motion. This is not a figure of speech, nor a poetic idea. It is a divine fact. The spoken word is vibration, and vibration is law in action. When you release words into the universe, you are not merely expressing feelings, you are activating forces that shape your visible world. You may whisper a word, you may shout it, or you may speak it in your mind, but the law does not distinguish between loud and soft. It responds to the quality of the word, the belief behind it, and the image it forms in the invisible. Most people are careless with their words, not knowing they are drafting blueprints for their future with every sentence they utter. They say, "I am always unlucky," and that phrase, though spoken lightly, is a command that the law of substitution must fulfill. You have substituted a picture of lack in the invisible, and as surely as the seed brings forth after its kind, that image will return to you clothed in circumstances. The law never forgets a word. It never loses a decree. It is perfect in its memory and perfect in its delivery. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that the invisible is more real than the visible, because it is the birthplace of all conditions. What you see with your eyes is merely the harvest of words spoken weeks, months, even years ago. If you want to change your harvest, you must first change the seed. And the seed is always the word. When you speak affirmations of success, of health, of wealth, you are not merely thinking positively. You are rewriting the patterns in the invisible mold. And once the mold is filled with the vibration of truth, the visible has no choice but to conform. But remember this divine key. The law is impersonal. It does not decide for you. It executes what you decide. If you choose to speak fear, doubt, and limitation, the law will carry it out with the same precision as it would carry out a command of victory, faith, and abundance. It is not the universe's responsibility to discern your desires. It is your responsibility to speak them into form with unwavering authority. You are never a victim of circumstance. You are always the creator of your spoken word. Every time you declare, "I am provided for, I am divinely guided, I am victorious," you are issuing royal decrees to the invisible servants of law. They rush to fulfill your order, even if you do not yet see them moving. The key is to know that the moment you speak, the law begins. There is no delay in divine machinery. Delay only exists in the human mind that doubts its own power. So I ask you now, beloved student of truth, what are you speaking into your life? Are you decreeing victory, or are you speaking defeat without even realizing it? Because the law is waiting, always waiting for your next word. It is in the air around you. in the ethers, ready to shape itself into your next experience. Therefore, choose your words as you would choose the bricks of a temple, for you are building the temple of your life with every word you pronounce. If you are ready to take this power back, to command the invisible with clarity and confidence, then make your declaration now. Speak the words that will mold the unseen into the life you desire. Say it aloud. I now speak the word my good appears now. And as you declare, know with certainty that the law has already begun its perfect work. The universe does not hear begging. It does not respond to wishing, nor does it move by mere hope. The invisible forces of divine law are not stirred by desperation, but by certainty. Pleading is the language of fear, and fear has no creative power. Only the spoken word of authority, declared with faith, commands the universe into action. Florence Scovel Shinn often said, "You must act as if you have already received, and the way you act is through the tone of your words." When you say, "I hope things will get better," you are speaking as a beggar in the kingdom of the divine. But when you declare, "I now receive my good," you are speaking as a child of the King, claiming what is rightfully yours. The universe is not moved by emotional outbursts. It is moved by the still, unwavering voice of one who knows. This is why affirmations must not be uttered with anxiety, but with calm conviction. You are not asking for permission. You are issuing a decree. When you speak a word of power, you are not trying to convince the universe to bless you. You are reminding it of the law that is already written on your behalf. I now speak the word, my perfect health appears now. This is not a request, it is a command. You are not waiting for healing. You are calling it forth from the invisible into the visible. The law responds to this tone of certainty. It does not argue. It does not delay. It begins at once. Most people speak their good in a tone of maybe. Maybe I will get that opportunity. Maybe I will recover. But the law does not understand maybe. It understands yes, and it understands no. Your word must be yes. Yes to abundance. Yes to health. Yes to success. Speak with the confidence of one who knows that divine supply is limitless, and your portion is ready the moment you declare it. Florence taught that when you speak, you are wielding the sword of the Spirit. But a sword waved in fear will not cut through obstacles. Only a sword held steady in faith has the power to clear the path. Every time you declare, "It is mine by divine right," you are cutting through invisible resistance. You are making straight the way for your good to appear. Understand this truth. You are not trying to persuade an indifferent universe. You are aligning yourself with a law that is always ready, always active, always waiting for your next decree. The moment you stop begging and start declaring, the entire machinery of the universe shifts in your favor. Doors open, ways are made, and what seemed impossible begins to take form. So I ask you, beloved, are you still begging for your good, or are you ready to stand in your divine authority and speak it into existence? If you are ready, then declare it now. Type in the comments, "I now declare my good, it is mine by divine right." Let this be your spiritual contract, and as you speak, the law shall fulfill. The law of the spoken word is a boomerang. Every word you send out, whether good or ill, returns to you multiplied. Most people speak as if words are fleeting. They do not realize that every phrase, every idle statement, is a seed cast into the fertile soil of the invisible. And the soil does not question what you plant. It nourishes it, it grows it, it returns it. This is why Florence Scovel Shinn warned, "Be careful of your words, for they are always coming back to you." When you say, "I am always unlucky," you have just signed a spiritual contract, and the law, being perfect and unchanging, must fulfill that decree. You may not see it today or tomorrow, but the words have gone out and the boomerang has begun its journey back. and when it returns, it will bring with it circumstances, events, and people that echo your own declaration. The law does not discriminate between a joke and a serious word. It only responds to the energy behind it. Imagine a person who every morning complains, "I never have enough money." That phrase becomes a drumbeat in the invisible. It builds momentum, gathers evidence, and soon life begins to present situations that affirm those words. Bills arrive unexpectedly. Opportunities slip away. The person sees this and says, "See, I told you, I never have enough." But what they fail to see is that their words were the cause, and life was merely the effect. But the beauty of divine law is this: the moment you change your word, you change your world. Speak abundance, and abundance begins its journey back to you. Declare, "Money flows to me freely and effortlessly," and though the evidence may not be immediate, the boomerang has been set in motion. It will return, and when it does, it will not return empty. The invisible is always listening, always responding, and always multiplying. Florence taught that negative words are like spiritual debts. Every time you say, "I can't afford this," you are writing a check that the universe will gladly cash by keeping you in lack. But you can cancel these debts with the spoken word of truth. The moment you catch yourself speaking defeat, stop and correct it. Declare, "There is no lack in divine mind. My supply is endless and immediate." In that instant you have reversed the boomerang. Do not be casual with your words. Life is never casual in returning them. Speak only what you wish to see multiplied. Speak only what you are willing to receive. The invisible law is not personal. It is mathematical. 2 + 2 will always be 4, regardless of emotion. Likewise, "I am prosperous," will always bring prosperity when spoken with belief, while "I am always struggling," will faithfully deliver struggle. Now, beloved, take a moment and reflect: what boomerangs have you been sending out? Are they words of victory or words of defeat? The law is impartial. It will echo what you choose. If you are ready to send out a new decree, to fill the invisible with words of power and truth, then make your declaration now. Type in the comments, "I now send out words of abundance. My good returns multiplied." This is not just a comment. It is a spiritual contract, and the law will not fail to deliver. Every word you speak charges the invisible ether. You may not see it with your eyes, but the moment a word leaves your lips, it begins to form an unseen mold in the substance of the universe. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that the invisible precedes the visible. Nothing appears in the physical world that has not first been molded in the spiritual realm. The spoken word is the sculptor's tool, chiseling out the form long before your hands can touch it. People often despair because they speak affirmations and yet see no immediate result. They say, "I've spoken the word, but nothing is happening." But what they do not understand is that the invisible is always working, shaping, rearranging, aligning. The spoken word fills the ethers with form, much like pouring liquid into a mold. You may not see the sculpture while the liquid is setting, but in divine timing, the mold will break and the form will appear. Every time you declare, "I am wealthy," you are pouring substance into the mold of abundance. Each affirmation adds to the structure in the invisible. It is not a matter of if it will appear, but when the mold becomes so saturated with your words of truth that the visible world must conform. The invisible is never idle. It is a living workshop, tirelessly crafting the images you supply through your words. But be mindful, inconsistency delays manifestation. You cannot fill a mold with truth one day and empty it with doubt the next. Florence said, "You must persist until you succeed." The spoken word is not a one-time command, it is a daily discipline. Just as you would water a seed in the ground, you must water your desires with affirmations until they break through the soil of the visible world. The ethers are like an infinite mirror, reflecting back the images you send. If you declare lack, the mirror reflects lack. If you declare abundance, the mirror cannot help but return it, but the image must be held steadily, without wavering, for the reflection to appear in full. This is why Florence emphasized the power of words spoken in faith, not frustration. Words spoken in faith mold the invisible with clarity. Words spoken in frustration create distorted forms. You must trust the unseen process. There is no wasted word in divine law. Each declaration builds, layer upon layer, until the invisible mold is complete. And when it is, the visible world must obey. The ethers cannot hold back a completed form. Life will rearrange itself, opportunities will appear, doors will open, circumstances will shift, to bring that invisible mold into visible manifestation. So, beloved student of truth, I ask you, what molds are you filling today? Are you shaping a life of abundance, joy, and freedom? Or are you unknowingly pouring substance into molds of fear and limitation? The choice is yours. The invisible is waiting. Speak now, declare your desire into the ethers. Type in the comments, I now fill the invisible with words of wealth, my good appears in divine timing. Let this be your command, and know that the mold is already taking form. There is a spoken formula that holds the key to miracles. I called it the most powerful decree you can ever pronounce. I now speak the word, it is mine by divine right. These are not just words, they are a spiritual password that opens doors no man can shut. They bypass human reasoning, they override visible facts, and they summon the forces of divine order to arrange your life in perfect harmony. When you speak this formula, you are not asking, you are not wishing, you are commanding from the highest authority, the authority of divine right. What is meant for you cannot be taken from you. What belongs to you by divine right does not require struggle, competition, or compromise. The universe does not operate on human systems of earning and deserving. It operates on the spiritual law of rightful possession. But the key is in speaking the word. You must open your mouth and declare it into the ethers. Silent desires are not enough. The invisible responds to vibration, and the vibration of spoken words is the trigger that activates movement in your favor. I now speak the word, it is mine by divine right. Say it slowly, say it with conviction. Feel the authority behind it. You are not begging, you are claiming. This formula works because it aligns your mind with the rhythm of divine timing. It clears out fear, anxiety, and impatience. It affirms that you do not need to force outcomes, because what is yours is already on its way. By divine right, not by effort. By divine right, not by manipulation. Florence taught that when you are aligned with this truth, even what seems delayed is actually being prepared in your favor. Whenever doubt creeps in, whenever circumstances appear to contradict your desires, this is the formula that steadies the soul. It reminds you that the law is never late, and it never withholds. The delay is only in human perception, not in divine execution. You may not see the immediate evidence, but once you speak this word, forces are set in motion that will not rest until your good appears. This formula also protects you from receiving less than what is best for you. It is mine by divine right, ensures that you do not settle for crumbs when a feast is prepared for you. It eliminates competition because it acknowledges that what is yours cannot go to another, and what belongs to another cannot come to you. There is no need for fear, for the law is precise, perfect, and personal. So, beloved, if you desire something today, whether it is a home, a job, a relationship, or financial freedom, stop struggling in your mind, stop rehearsing fears. Speak the formula and rest in its power. Declare now, I now speak the word, it is mine by divine right. Type it in the comments as a sacred contract, and let this be your unwavering decree. The law has heard you, and it has already begun its perfect work. Silence is agreement. When you fail to speak victory, you silently consent to defeat. The invisible realm is never still. It is always listening, always responding to the vibration you emit. If you do not fill the ethers with your own words of truth, life will fill them for you with echoes of fear, doubt, and limitation. You must understand, beloved, that nature abhors a vacuum. If you do not speak for yourself, the collective noise of the world will speak for you. Many people believe that being silent is being safe. They think that by saying nothing, they can avoid disappointment. But in the realm of spiritual law, silence is not safety, it is surrender. Florence Scovel Shinn taught, every moment is an opportunity to speak the word or to allow appearances to dominate. There is no neutral ground. You are either commanding the invisible or being commanded by it. The loudest voice in the universe is not the one that shouts, but the one that whispers with unwavering belief. Your affirmations do not need volume. They need certainty. A soft-spoken truth, declared with faith, has more power than 1,000 loud complaints. When you say, I now speak the word, my path is clear, you are not shouting into the void. You are directing spiritual forces with the precision of a master architect. But remember, life does not wait. If you do not rise and speak, the inertia of old patterns will fill the space. You must interrupt these patterns with the spoken word. Speak over your fears. Speak over your doubts. Speak even when you see no evidence, for it is in the unseen where the real construction is taking place. Every time you declare, I now command divine order in my life, you are placing yourself back on the throne of your destiny. The invisible is not deaf, nor is it indifferent. It is always waiting for the next word. The question is, will that word come from you, or from the noise of the world around you? Do not let life speak for you. Speak for yourself. Speak boldly. Speak often. Now, beloved listener, if you are ready to take back the pen that writes your story, I ask you to make a declaration today, not tomorrow, not later, now. Type in the comments, I no longer stay silent. I now speak the word of victory. Let this be your public decree, your spiritual signature. As you type, know that you are not merely writing on a screen. You are inscribing a command in the invisible that must return fulfilled. The law is listening. The ethers are moving. Your word is the spark that ignites creation. Speak, and so it shall be. The game of life is not a game of chance. It is a game of spoken words. Every victory you will ever experience begins not in the visible, not in circumstances, not in effort, but in the invisible world, set in motion by the words you dare to speak. Florence Scovel Shinn revealed a hidden law that few understand even today. The law that your tongue holds the key to your destiny. The law that life cannot give you more than you are willing to declare aloud. You are not a bystander in the theater of life. You are the playwright. You are not a leaf tossed by the winds of chance. You are the wind. And yet how many times do we sit in silence, allowing fear to write our lines, letting doubt shape our next scene? The law does not ask, do you feel ready? It only asks, what are you speaking? Because what you speak, you create. You may have been taught to stay quiet, to be humble in your desires, to hope quietly in your heart. But spiritual law is not activated by silent wishing. It moves at the speed of declaration. The word must go forth before the manifestation can return. Florence taught, your word is your wand, but a wand that is never waved will never perform miracles. Today you are holding that wand. The question is, will you wave it? Will you dare to speak abundance in a world that screams scarcity? Will you declare health when appearances say otherwise? Will you stand in the authority of divine right, knowing that what is yours cannot be denied? The invisible world does not respond to those who wait for perfect conditions. It responds to those who create perfect conditions with the boldness of their words. The moment you speak, I now speak the word. It is mine by divine right. The universe rearranges itself in ways you cannot yet see. Delays begin to dissolve. Opportunities begin to rise. People, circumstances, and events begin to align. Not because you forced them, but because you spoke the word that set them in motion. You must remember, beloved, that silence is not safety. Indecision is not peace. The law abhors a vacuum. If you do not fill it with words of power, it will be filled with words of fear. If you do not claim your good, life will hand you what the collective mind has spoken. You are not here to be a passive recipient. You are here to be a masterful creator. Do not be deceived by the appearance of lack, sickness, or delay. They are but shadows cast by old words. Speak over them. Speak through them. Speak until the invisible mold is so filled with truth that the visible world can no longer resist. Your word is the blueprint. Your faith is the foundation. Your declaration is the key that turns the lock. And so I tell you now, not as a teacher, but as a spiritual guide who knows this law to be true. Speak as if it is already done. Speak as if heaven is listening, because it is. Speak as if the universe is poised, ready to move on your command, because it is. Do not wait for signs. Become the sign. Before you leave this sacred space, I invite you to seal this teaching with a living declaration. Type in the comments, I now speak the word, my perfect good appears now. Let this be more than a comment. Let it be your covenant with divine law. Let it be the vibration that shifts your atmosphere. For the law is perfect, the law is faithful, and the law has already begun its work. You are not waiting for your blessing. Your blessing is waiting for your word. Speak it now.